Thoth or Tut, the god of wisdom among the pharaohs. One of the cosmic gods of Thamon Al Ashmonin. It is considered one of the most important ancient Egyptian deities and is depicted with the head of an ibis. His female counterpart was the goddess Maat. His main shrine was in Eshmun, where he was the main deity there. The ancient Egyptians considered that the god Thoth was the one who taught them writing and arithmetic. See arithmetic among the ancient Egyptians. And he was always depicted holding a pen and a tablet on it. He has a fundamental role in the court of the dead, where the deceased is brought after the resurrection to perform the operation to weigh his heart in front of the feather of truth, Maat. Thoth records the result of the scale. If the heart of the dead is heavier than the feather of truth, so he is one of the sinners, he is thrown in his heart to an imaginary predatory beast named Amamut, which will devour him. And this is the eternal end of the dead. But if the heart is lighter than the feather of truth, Maat, then this means that the dead person was righteous in this world and enters paradise, where he lives with his wife and loved ones. After Osiris receives him, Thoth names. Later, the Greeks renamed it Hermes, and the Greeks saw him as the messenger of the gods, just like Hermes, and the Arabs renamed him Eshmun, and he was called the highest 3 times. It has shrines in several other places, for example, Abydos. The origin of Thoth. The book, The Gods of the Egyptians, presents a statement that Thoth was born from the skull of Set, as well as other sayings that he was born from the heart of Ra and was considered the heart and tongue of Ra, in addition to transmitting Ra's will to humans. In Egyptian mythology, Thoth played many vital and prominent roles. In addition to being one of the deities, the other was Maat, who stood on either side of the boat of Ra. He was a god of magic, writing, literature and science, and he also participated in counting the dead. And he possessed super magical powers, that the Egyptians even believed in the Book of Thoth, which turns his reader into the greatest capable magician in the world. Legend. Thoth occupies an important place in the ancient Egyptian religion. He links him to the mediating role between the gods of good and evil. His legend tells that he was a contemporary of 3 struggles between good and evil. The 3 conflicts are identical in principle, with a change in the combatants according to the time of each legend. In the first battle, the struggle was between the god Ra and Aviv, the second between hero Bekuti and Set, and the third struggle between Horus, son of Osiris, and Set. In each of these struggles, the first god represented order in the universe, and the second gladiator represented the forces of randomness and loss of order. And when one of the wrestlers was seriously injured, then Thoth would treat him to be able to return to the battle, so that neither of them defeated the other. We also know about the role of Thoth in the myth of Isis and Osiris. After Isis collected the body parts of Osiris from across Egypt under the verb of 6, she captured Thoth with words to be able to resurrect him again and to give birth to, after his death, their son Horus. Then a battle ensued between Horus, the avenger for his father, and Set, and in that conflict, Horus lost his left eye. But Thoth's advice gave him the wisdom and knowledge to heal and recover. Thoth was the god who uttered the will of Ra. In the beginning, it was Ra, Thoth, and Maat, as Maat represented order in the universe and represented truth and justice. Thoth was implementing Ra's will. Legend attributed to him making the year 365 days. According to legend, the year was only 360 days, so Nut, Ra's wife, did not conceive and did not give birth to a child during those days. Thoth bet with the moon on 1/72 of its light, and he won. 360/72 equals 5 more days. During those 5 days, she bore Nut, the goddess of heaven, and gave birth to hero Ur, Horus the Great, the face of the sky, Osiris, Set, Isis, and her sister Nephthys.